If you could improve your health with one little thing that you do already every day, but you just changed it slightly, would you do it? Hi there, I'm Kristin Jackson with Think Somatics, and I'm talking today about breathing. Now, obviously, if you're breathing, you're alive, but most of us are breathing less than optimally, and it's influencing our health. It can be influencing our mental health, our physical health, and our emotional health. And I'll have some notes in the lesson that we're leading into that you can read more about how breathing influences the health of your whole system. But let's talk about things that might be negating how you're breathing. So posturally, as a somatic educator, I've already talked to you guys about reflexes. So when we are closed up in the front, like if you're scared or you're also just kind of hunkering down over your devices all the time and you're shortening in the front of the body, this is going to limit your breathing. You're not going to be able to use your diaphragm muscle very effectively if you're hunkered down into it and it cannot expand downward. And conversely, if you're a go, go, go person and you're always arching your back, you're going into that fight or flight, you can try this on. As you arch your back, your ribs actually close up in the back and your diaphragm is probably being pulled up a little bit and you're breathing more up here. And this is not an optimal place to breathe. This is where we have our accessory muscles for breathing. Then also if you are bending and twisting to the side, so we call that the avoidance protection trauma reflex. When you are injured, your body will twist and bend and protect itself some way to avoid more discomfort. So if you're shortening into one side, then you are limiting the capacity of your lung on one side of your body. So those are things posturally that you might be triggering all the time and you're habitually in one of these little reflexes, the startle reflex, that green light, fight or flight, or the avoidance protection trauma reflex. So 3 things that could be influencing how you breathe. So what is good breathing, you're wondering, right? Okay, so your diaphragm is this muscle that's kind of this domed muscle. It's at the bottom of your rib cage, and I've got Slim here to talk about it, but basically right in this area is where your diaphragm resides, and when you take a breath, it's actually making a contraction. You breathe, and it drops downward towards your pelvis a bit, and you can expand more through your center, and that's where we want to breathe. But most of us, like I said, are breathing up here. We have culturally been limited by certain norms in our society that tells us always, stand up straight, pull your shoulders back, suck in your gut, and then you've got limited capacity to let that middle of your body expand. And so those are going to influence how you can breathe. And then also we sit a lot, which is going to hinder breathing. So not only culturally can we be limited, but there might be some helping people in your life that have told you how to breathe. Now, when you were a baby, you did not need to be told how to breathe. You just breathed. But like I said, culturally, we're told to kind of tighten and create rigidity in our body, and it limits our breathing. Now, there's another thing that happens a lot in the fitness and maybe PT world where you're being told, take a breath in, but then as you exhale, work at it. So as you exhale, I hear a lot of clients come in and they're pursing their lips and pushing the air out. When you are in a relaxed state, the muscles that work on breathing are actually helping to create the inhale. So diaphragm expands and the muscles between your ribs expand, the intercostal muscles, and you create this fullness through your middle. And then when you exhale, it should be a release of all tension. You should not be using tension to get an exhale out of your body, okay? So, but this is what happens a lot. People will take a breath in, and then so many folks have been told, okay, now push it out. And you can do this. Close your eyes and see what that feels like. Take a breath in, and then when you exhale, purse your lips a little bit, push that air out, and you can feel your rectus abdominis contract a bit. You can feel your ribs close up a little bit in the front. And I had a woman in here yesterday, and she continued to do that through her lesson, and she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how habituated that is, because somebody told her that's what she should be doing. So she's been practicing it for like 40 years, and she's shortened in the front of her body that when she's walking around, she's leaning forward. Now, there's probably other things that are contributing to that pattern of leaning forward, but every exhale is getting a little bit tighter into her front. So Consider that in your fitness program. Maybe it's coming from Pilates or yoga. They kind of encourage certain breathing patterns. It's not that you can't do them, but if you habituate them, you'll be breathing that way all the time. And we do not want to keep shortening our fronts, right? Okay, let's move into some pandiculations and see if we can relax the center of the body, get more oxygen into our bodies, and see how we feel.